Michelle Mone was happy to admit that she had lied to the press over a couple of years. She'd sent through her lawyers aggressive legal letters saying, I had nothing to do with PPE Medpro. She said I didn't benefit financially. Yesterday, that was all thrown out. Half the money that was made by the company in profit was put into a family trust. She admitted that she, her children, Barrowman's children are beneficiaries of that trust, and they stand to benefit if Doug Barrowman were to predecease her. So extraordinary, really. She said that's not a crime.
Just on Michelle Mone and Doug Barrowman, what happens now, given that they just, admitted that actually they were involved in this company they've spent months insisting they had nothing to do with?
Years.
And lots of legal letters.
Yes, so they're involved in an NCA investigation, which appears to have 3 charges, including bribery investigation, I should say, not charges. That's ongoing, and we don't have very much information about that. And at the same time, they are facing a Department of Health litigation, and that is an attempt to claw back some of that money. The Department of Health claim that some of the gowns that they delivered weren't fit for purpose, and therefore they shouldn't be paid for those. Michelle Mone and Doug Barrowman claim that they were, and that some of the issues were from the Department of Health side, that they'd given the wrong specifications, talking about them being single-bagged rather than double-bagged. So those two are ongoing in the background. What we learnt yesterday, obviously, is that Michelle Mone was happy to admit that she had lied to the press over a couple of years. She'd sent through her lawyers aggressive legal letters saying, I had nothing to do with PPE Medpro. She said I didn't benefit financially. Yesterday, that was all thrown out. Half the money that was made by the company in profit was put into a family trust. She admitted that she, her children, Barrowman's children are beneficiaries of that trust, and they stand to benefit if Doug Barrowman were to predecease her. So extraordinary, really. She said that's not a crime. Which is true.
Which is true. But also, lying to the press is not technically a crime, but it's lying to the public, and she's a member of the House of Lords.
Exactly, and that was raised in the interview by Laura Kuenssberg. She said, why did you not tell the House of Lords that you benefited financially? She'd said all along that she didn't, and that was why she felt she didn't need to tell the House of Lords. But the story changed in the interview yesterday, and she said that she'd been given advice by the Cabinet Office not to declare it to the House of Lords.
So we wait to see what happens with those various investigations. Do you think anything will happen about his claim that he was invited to pay the money to avoid the criminal investigation? I mean, it seems like the criminal investigation is still ongoing.
Well, one imagines that must be, before the civil litigation started, there must have been sort of negotiations ahead of any action in the courts. And the claim he's making is that in those negotiations, he was given a sort of a nudge and a wink and told that perhaps the NCA investigation could go away. I mean, Oliver Dowden, the Deputy Prime Minister, was interviewed shortly afterwards and said that he did not recognise that he didn't want to comment on something that was now a matter for the courts. But, one imagines that too could come out in an investigation.